Hey, Wyoming conservatives, we are going to talk about the legislature this month because it is legislative month in Wyoming. We'll be going from February 14th to March 11th in the year 2022. It's the budget session, so it's a shorter session than the full general session in the alternate year. But let's talk a little bit today about how laws are made in Wyoming. And many of you may have studied this in school, but surprisingly these days, there's a lot of people who really don't understand the process. And when you look at the pure process, it's actually quite elegant. Now, has it been messed up a little bit in our time? Absolutely. But I would just encourage you for a minute to focus on how the process is designed to work. So first of all, there's some sort of an idea that, inspires somebody, says we need a law about this or that. And so either a citizen or a legislator, begins a discussion about how do we fix this problem that our state is facing. That's the real beginning of a new law. And then from that, it's taken into the legislative process. And we have a bicameral legislature, which means we have two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate, of course. And a bill can be introduced in either chamber. And so they'll either be Senate files or House bills. They will go through a similar process because ultimately every bill has to pass both houses before it can go to the governor and be turned into a law. So here's the step-by-step process through those two chambers of our legislature. The bill is introduced. It is assigned to a committee. That committee discusses it and either amends it or passes it out of the committee, or they can even let it die in committee by just taking no action. Once it has passed through the committee in whatever form it takes, whether it's amended or not, then it is reviewed by the committee of the whole. It goes into the general file. It's read into the chamber, whether it's the Senate or the House, and there's a series of votes that take place. So if it passes the first reading, it goes on for a second and third reading. Now, at any stage, it can be amended. The bill can be amended, so senators or representatives can offer little changes and tweaks to the language. And there's discussion on all of those changes, and they're voted on. Then, if it passes the third reading, it moves on to the second chamber. So if it started in the Senate, it will then move to the House. If it started in the House, it will move to the Senate after it has passed the third reading, and the process begins again. The legislators discuss it, amend it, pass it through committee, and ultimately either pass the same or a similar version of the bill or Senate file. If it's the same version that came from the originating chamber, then it goes to the governor once it's been passed by both chambers. If it's not the same version, then a couple of things have to happen. It goes into conference committee and they discuss it. The conference committee consists of members from both chambers and they basically hammer out an agreement. How are we going to finalize this bill and get it to the governor? They come to some sort of an agreement. It's now proceeding to the governor's office, and he has three options. He can sign it and it becomes a law. He can allow it to become a law without signing it, or he can veto the bill. If he vetoes it, it has to go back to the legislators, and they can still pass it to become a law, but it requires a 2/3 vote by both chambers. So as you can see, there are a lot of steps, a lot of discussion, a lot of opportunities to amend and perfect a law before it actually becomes law. Now, hopefully in that process, we've got legislators that are paying attention to the other laws around it, to our state constitution, our federal constitution, and really trying to make sure that this is a good piece of legislation that we don't have to revisit the next go around because there was something wrong. Now, if you want to understand more about the legislature, I really suggest in these next couple of weeks you spend some time on wyoleg.com. It's WYOLEG.com. And there you will find an abundance of information on our state legislature. You can watch meetings in progress. You can discover who your representatives and senators are. You can watch their votes on bills that are of particular interest to you. So I really encourage you to do that. Go download the Citizen Guide, study it, have understanding so that you can be an effective part of governing our state of Wyoming.